Hi, hello everybody. It is getting cold outside, but it is nice and cozy in here. I'm Leonie and it is time for a new episode, Hope Meets Banter. Alright everyone, we are in a cozy place today. Didn't want to be in the cold studio outside. Hello everyone, nice to see you, Drifty, Devil and Double H.
Yo.
Back together. Guten Tag. Right, I think you said it, guten Tag. Let's talk about Jurgen Klopp. Why not, shall we? Right, Liverpool. Okay, yet another defensive reshuffle, right? Because they're taking on Crystal Palace this weekend, and a lot of people are out. So in Anfield, are going to be Lovren, Gomez, Alexander-Arnold are all missing, and now it's Matip who is back in contention. You'll be fine. Matip is now back in contention to feature at a centre half, right? So that would enable Fabinho to return to his midfielder position, right? And a question and a half for you guys is, should Fabinho continue in central defence ahead of Matip, or should he be allowed back as a midfielder?
I think they need him in midfield, to be honest, especially against Crystal Palace, are a little bit of a bogey team for Liverpool as well. So I think...
Wait, is that home or away though?
It's at Anfield. It's at Anfield. I know it's not so bad at Anfield usually, but one thing you know with Crystal Palace is it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. They got some. You know, they're a very rugged team. So you want Fabinho in the middle of midfield for that one. And I think Matip. I know Liverpool fans are a bit like, you know what I mean? But he has had some very good performances in a Liverpool shirt. He will be rusty. I'll give you that. He will be rusty. But I think it makes sense to have a specialist centre back playing alongside VVD. And move Fabinho in midfield as well, because you don't want to get into this habit of trying to force Fabinho to be a centre-back when he's a specialist DM. That's what he signed him for, and he's done very well in midfield, so let him keep doing that.
Yeah. See, this is a dilemma. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, I'm trying to think what is best or what I would do if I was in charge, say. And I'm looking at the situation, I'm thinking, because Fabinho is actually... not naturally a right back, but he's played large portions of his Monaco career at right back, and now we've got the right back issue. I'm thinking I'd rather Fabinho at right back than Milner. Yeah. But like you said, we need him in the midfield though. Like when he's not in the midfield, we don't have like creativity. It sounds weird because he's the deepest midfielder, but he's actually the one who makes things happen more than anyone else. So I'm looking at him thinking, do I put him in midfield and have Milner at right back and hope he's okay? Because we got to remember, this is Zaha coming to town, and Milner up against Zaha scares the shit out of me.
I think it scares the shit out of him as well.
And it's an important match. Every match now is so important. 4 points they're ahead, 4 points. So I mean, they continue to win
cannot
this thing,
slip up.
right? To win.
We literally have to play 16 cup finals. Like,
you want to hope not. Klopp ain't good at cup finals, bro.
This fucking guy. So every game has to be taken as seriously as that one game wins you something. It can't be but if we draw, we'll be alright. No, we have to win every game. So I don't know whether I would rather Fabinho was at right back, and he's naturally a right back, meaning he'll be a lot more, suited to there, and just obviously have Milner in midfield. Or whether I'm thinking, is Matip going to be so rusty that maybe it would make more sense for Fabinho to have one more game, because Matip hasn't even had a week of training. He's back, but he hasn't even trained for a week. Considering he was on the bench before the injury, he was match rusty anyway. Now he's injured. Now he's going to cut.
So basically, drifting. You've been drifting from left to right.
Because I don't actually know. Like honestly, I don't know.
Just choose something. Yes, the manager. Would you play Matip or not?
One thing you don't want to do. You don't have Fabinho centre back and Milner right back.
Yeah, which is the other thing now.
Have that.
Yeah, because that's too much makeshift.
You can't have that.
No, I think, look, at the end of the day, I feel that even if it worked because they won the game, I thought it was a bad call in a psychological sense for Klopp to opt for Matip ahead of... to opt for Fabinho ahead of Matip in defence. Because I think there was just one thing where he just saw
the Brighton game.
Yeah, it was
Matip had literally only had one training session, so like that would have been crazy to throw him in for that game.
That would have been too soon.
No, but basically, look,
it worked though.
No. I mean, it's well, that's the whole thing. See, that's the danger, because the danger now is that cool, that worked. Let's try that again. But I think from what Devo is saying is right. You have to play players in their natural position, especially now when every game means something, and City don't look like. Listen, City have a dude, a goalkeeper playing keeper ball in the middle of the pitch. So that's how confident they are right now. So
that was so disrespectful.
No. Let's not even go there. But I think that right now you don't want to start experimenting, play everybody in their strongest position. But the fact is that it's true. He's rusty, and especially when you're in central defense and you're not played for a long time, you will make that bit of a mistake in the first few before you really start to fit in. But if it was me, play everybody in their strongest position. Fabinho has to be in midfield. He's got to play that role because he's one of the best midfielders in our role in there, and Matip in defence, and pray that Van Dijk can, guide him through.
Now, do you know what? Before we move on, I'll play Fabinho at right back and put Matip at centre back. I would, because I'm just thinking about it now. And even though Crystal Palace do have, threats on the wings, they don't have threats in the middle, really. I don't want to jinx it now.
Benteke, last minute.
I'm thinking the width is probably the better place to secure than centrally. So hopefully Matip will be alright. Because Townsend and
this season for Liverpool.
No, not this year. But at Monaco, he actually was like he played there a lot. Do you know what I mean?
And one thing I will say is Fabinho won't want to go up against Townsend, because Townsend's hair is phenomenal. Fabinho's gonna look at him like, bitch. You know what I mean? Shout out Townsend's hair transplant.
Okay.
It's the best thing
Can't say the same about Klopp's hair transplant. Sorry about that. But anyway, let's see what the German comes up with then, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's see. Good luck against Crystal Palace. Okay, let's turn our eye towards the Norwegian Solskjaer. I know we've been talking about him a lot, but I think it's really worth mentioning that he has 6 games and 6 wins now as the new coach for Manchester United, right? So we're looking at, is he the man to bring Manchester United back to the top? I know we had that question. I think it's super relevant again today. Let me just quickly recap, right? They haven't beaten any of the top 6 teams until now, until that game against Spurs. We've seen Kane limping off the pitch afterwards, right? Kane seems to be out till March.
Is it?
And I think we should also play a little bit, talk a little bit about the De Gea. But let's start us off. Do you think Solskjaer is the man to make it happen?
Can I just say, firstly, I think it's very, very good that he's managed to go through rehabilitation after the problem he had when he was addicted to that ring in New Zealand.
Which ring?
Gollum. He looks like Gollum. He looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah,
but he got over that.
Now
he got over that, and now he's a successful football manager. So it shows you can get over addiction.
Okay, Devo.
Well played.
My precious, please.
But he looks like Gollum hard, bro. Come on.
Secondly, when he's singing, I was like, oh yeah, the eyes and everything.
I'm just waiting for him to get one decision right. Like,
Drop the vanity, Devo.
No, let's be real. Okay, look.
Lord of the Ring character.
This was a big win. Like the other wins before didn't count. It was against part-timers. No offense. So this was a full, proper win. And also, the reason why this win was so big was that it was hard fought. So if it was like 5-0 or 4-0, like, oh geez, like everything's just going so well for them. This is where Tottenham came at them in the second half. So this was a real win. But in the question, is he the man? I think that right now you pencil him in. Before it was like, okay, let's just wait until end of the season. After this win, you pencil him in and say, you know what? Let's put him in the general consideration of let's see what happens. And let's just keep going and let's just see where this all ends. Because again, 6 points from top 4. Like if they get top 4, you have to keep it. But again, this is something I pose to a United fan. What if they play really well, amazingly well, amazing goals, they don't make top 4? Do you still keep it?
You know,
I don't know.
The problem is that you have to look at it as a long-term thing. He's come in, he's changed. Obviously, he's taken over from Mourinho. The whole atmosphere around the club has changed. How long can they ride that wave?
Yeah, fair.
If the season finishes, they get top 4, and then they have pre-season, and they bring in new players or whatever. What if they start the next season poorly and they lose 2-3 games in the first 7 or 8? Do cracks start to appear? You have a manager in Pochettino who supposedly thereafter. How long is he going to stay available? Do you risk missing out on Pochettino and he goes Real Madrid and you give Solskjaer the job, and then if it doesn't work, who else is available? I think he's done a great job and he's doing a great job. But I think if someone like Pochettino is there, you take him. you take him. You don't mess around with Solskjaer. No offense.
I know you said Double H is like hard fought, but I think you could even argue, just playing devil's advocate here a little bit. I mean that they were just lucky, or De Gea kind of saved their ass, because the second half, I think Tottenham had more attempts on goal, definitely dominated in possession. That's what the stats say. So what do you think, Drift? You're just being lucky, or is it Solskjaer, or is it De Gea on a really good day?
People. I'm just being real here for the main fans. They're going to say that it's hating, but I'm just being real.
No, you're hating.
Everything that Solskjaer has done right now is kind of like what Dev's saying about like how long would that feel-good factor last. I look at that team, Solskjaer's done nothing tactically. He's just got the boys up for it. No, he hasn't. Because that Tottenham game...
I told this guy, he come up with the craziest...
That is crazy.
That Tottenham game exposed everything that the smaller teams couldn't. That Man United still have no shape. They still aren't good at defending because Tottenham peppered the goal and they've just got an alien in the goal who just kept making saves. If you swapped, and I know, sorry Liverpool fans, if you put Mignolet in goal for Man U in that match, Tottenham win that game 4-1.
What about if they put Alisson in goal?
Then it might still been 1-0. But what I'm saying is, if you put Mignolet or Karius in that goal instead of De Gea, because a lot of people
so they didn't do good to defend. They didn't defend well.
No, because their goalie got peppered.
How can you do how many blocks that Matic made in that game?
No, I'm not saying the defence didn't make any blocks or were terrible. But what I'm saying is, what was it 8 shots on target?
11 shots he saved in the second half.
Oh, so it's more than I even thought it was. I'm sorry. You didn't do well defensively.
How many
your
goalies
got peppered like that? Come on, man.
I don't agree with that.
The goalkeeper has to be where he has to be. A lot of people are saying, De Gea is just there. No, he's tactically aware because the exact same goal that they conceded, Tottenham, their goalie wasn't in the right position and De Gea was. It's more than just, it went straight
when Dele Alli shot the ball straight, Dele Alli shot the ball straight at him.
No,
De Gea knows where to be. But this is the guys are just being
reactionary. You have to understand goalkeeping, right? If to be in the right place at the right time once could be a coincidence. To be in the right place at the right time 11 times mean your positioning is spot on. He was in the right place every time because he knew where the danger was.
So we're not going to chastise Tottenham for not shooting well.
No, Tottenham should have scored.
Yeah, some of their finish should have 100% been better. There's no doubt. But I'm just saying,
so let's calm down.
Let's just calm down a bit on thinking that Solskjaer is a genius. Because, like I said, no disrespect. I'm not saying he hasn't done anything tactically, but for me, it just looks like a group of players who were good being allowed to do what they kind of want. It doesn't look to me like he's actually got... Yeah, but it's not like he's got like a whole system that for 3 years could be successful going forward.
Yeah, well,
but that's still tactics.
For me, it just looks like give Solskjaer the job permanently and this will run out. And like Dev said, then when there's a problem, he won't be able to solve it.
I didn't say he won't be able to solve it.
No, I'm saying that. I will downright say this now. Solskjaer will never win the league for Man United.
Based on what? No, based on what? How do you know?
Based on the fact that he hasn't done it before, and what I'm seeing so far isn't impressive tactically. It just looks like he's come and put his arm around everyone, got them feeling good, and they're good players. Lingard, Rashford, they're good players. They're not like shit players. So let them express themselves for a little while, and it's going to look good. What happens when there is a crack? Solskjaer won't fix that. So I hope they keep Solskjaer. But they won't. They won't. They'll be smart enough to realise we can't make 4 fuck-ups in a row. Nah, Solskjaer's a popular vote, but he's not.
No. But basically, just before we move on, I just think, look, you have to be real here. This dude can't be objective to save his life. I'm going to be objective for you. No, you've talked. You've had the
that was an objective opinion.
Leonie, can you tell this guy that I've got the floor? Now, the first matter is that 100%, you say that they've not done anything tactically. That makes no sense whatsoever. That is complete bullcrap.
So I
have to disagree with you there. I'm with you.
So they have an identity. The last 6 games they've been.
He's still building. He's still building.
Let Double explain what.
Okay, thank you.
What do you think he changed tactically?
No, for me, I think 100%. The first thing he did was that you've got to make much more forward runs, much more fluidity, and freeing up
quicker.
Move the ball quicker, and also movements of the ball a lot more because under Mourinho they were far too rigid. Under Louis van Gaal, they just forward too much about possession. So for Solskjaer was like, look man, you guys, you don't have to be so rigid within the position you're in. Move more, maybe make much more diagonal runs. And those diagonal runs makes Pogba better because again, that goal that they scored was from the run that Rashford made. Because Pogba looked up, boom, a forward run is being made, move the ball forward. If you look
at what they did in that game is they used the diagonal balls a lot. Because they knew there'll be space behind the Tottenham fullbacks. Yep. So they got Pogba in there spraying the ball out into wide positions. Rashford, Martial making forward runs as much as they can. And they exploit the spaces. That's what the tactics were.
So, but like I said, There's
that's
no. You can have a tactical
it takes time
setup for one game based on
though.
because I think Pogba even come out and said it wasn't anything to do with Solskjaer. It was the people who scout the other teams that went, here's a little bit of a weakness. So he would have said that to any manager that's in control. So what I'm saying is Solskjaer himself doesn't have a philosophy that will win Man United the league or do any real great success. For me, it's just feel-good factor right now.
Fair opinion. We'll see. I guess the real challenge is going to be when there's an actual challenge. Now he's just riding on this winning wave, right? And maybe when the first loss comes, is how does he deal with that and how does he get Menu up after that? That will be the question to see. Okay, but I think we have mentioned the Gea, and I think he's done an incredible job. I mean, that's undisputable for that match, at least when I watched
No,
it.
it is disputable, but let me finish.
Okay, it's disputable. Fine, fair, but I mean, I was impressed. But let's talk about goalkeeping, right? So we have one of the greats who announced that he will be retiring at the end of the season. It is Czech.
Yeah.
So let me just quickly. So he's 36, right? He's an Arsenal keeper right now. He's been with Arsenal for 3 years. Before he spent 11 years at Chelsea. Can you read that?
Is he
11 years. He's only
He was older.
36.
and what he said is, having played 15 years in the Premier League and won every single trophy possible, because he actually did, I feel like I have achieved everything I set out to achieve. So, what do you guys think? How will this goalkeeper be remembered when he finally hands in his gloves?
You know what, for me, there's a good argument for him to be in the best ever in the Premier League. There's a very good argument. What he did at Chelsea, he was different class, and to come back from the injury he had as well and still be a top level goalkeeper, because it could have been quite easy. You have to be very brave.
He wasn't really top after the injury.
He still was at Chelsea for a bit, and then he came to Arsenal and it all went as it does. But to come back from that injury, you have to be brave as a goalkeeper. You have to put yourself in danger, and to come back from an injury as bad as his and still be able to do that shows us a lot for his mentality. Because not me, man. As soon as something, I was like, no chance.
He must feel secure in that thing. Like he can just go and headbutt something.
He looks like a rugby player then.
It's like a rugby thing.
But remember, he was training with men like Drogba and that. Bro, come on, man. You're putting yourself in danger every training session.
Do you know what? Yeah, I agree with Dev that he's definitely one of the greatest goalkeepers in the league. I think De Gea has to be in that conversation, even though he hasn't had the longevity. Obviously Schmeichel, obviously David Seaman,
Van der Sar.
Van der Sar. So there's quite a big list of top goalkeepers that he's got to be able to overcome, which I probably don't think he does. I think the names we just said, Prop, Seaman, I think they probably are maybe better goalie. I mean, not in terms of achievements, he's probably the best.
He probably is the most decorated.
The only thing about Czech, and this is no disrespect to Arsenal, is I feel like when you lot bought him, he was already on the way down anyway. And it's just a shame he's been so bad at Arsenal, which kind of ruined his reputation a little bit. Because now I don't actually remember Czech who used to make those saves. I remember the Czech who can't control the ball with his feet and he's doing little, do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a shame. I've got that image in my head more than like when he saved. Do you remember that save he did against Cout in the Champions League when he couldn't get it with his hand and he like super stepped in the air and it was like, that's not even humanly possible. How did you do that? So
no. For me, I think I think it's a case of remember me at my best, not at my worst. Because he has been a brick since he moved to Arsenal.
Not the whole time. The last 2 years.
I mean,
last year
was good.
But basically, there was a point where I say 2004 best keeper in the world. Like when Czech Republic were coming into the Euros, I would say Czech was arguably the best keeper in the world. And again, he saved a penalty in a Champions League final, as well as saving penalties as well in the penalty shootout as well. So he played a pivotal role in Chelsea winning their first ever Champions League. So I just think that when he was at his height, he was one of the best keepers in the world. So I think when all is said and done, I think people will say, okay, yeah, he declined after the Arsenal thing. Who knows how much the head injury played a part to him. But I just think that when he was at his best, the guy was one of the best in the world. So I think that for me supersedes his latter part of his career. So yeah, no, definitely easily one of the best keepers in the world.
Okay, top 3 goalkeepers in the world right now, since we're on the topic.
Can I start?
Are we literally just talking on form as well then?
Yeah, form.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
double H. Set up.
number 3 is basically special mention Handanovic. I just like to say it as a special mention Handanovic.
Yeah, he's been solid for you.
Number 3, De Gea. Number 2, Oblak. Number 1, Ter Stegen.
Okay.
Ter Stegen right now is the best keeper in the world. That's not an opinion; it's a fact.
It's an opinion.
Devil, what do you say to that fact?
It's not a fact. It's a
It is a fact. So what you say is going to be wrong, but say anyway.
The best goalkeeper in the world right now is Jay Leno.
Hey. No, that's the...
I almost couldn't even say it. Nah, his name's Jay Leno because he's comedic. For me, the best three, I'm going to go... it's probably not too far. No, his hair's alright, actually. That's about the only thing he's got right. I say David De Gea. And I know David De Gea hasn't been in the greatest form this season.
Wait, so you think he's the best?
No, I'm going 3-1.
3-1, okay.
3-1. David De Gea, but just his ability. I don't think there's any other goalkeeper with the ability that he has. Oblak. It's basically the same, but then also I need to shout out Alisson has been immense this season as well. So if we talk about form, Alisson, it seems harsh to leave him out.
Good defense.
But yeah, I'd say the same. I'd say the same as you. I'd say the same as you, to be fair.
Wow.
Unity. And let's see this guy do completely different.
Yeah, I love it.
Just to be
my third will be. I'm gonna base this on form and what I know of them. So it's a little bit fair on both. So I'm going to put De Gea in third, who I would say is the best, but I have to also count that he has been kind of poor this season and his World Cup wasn't good. So that's the only, but I technically think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. Second is Alisson, 24 clean sheets in this calendar year. Speaks for itself. I don't really, and that's for two different clubs. That's for two different clubs. He's settled. People forget at Roma, this guy couldn't be beaten. Now he's come to Liverpool and he's done the same thing. I'm sorry. That's
Ben Chesney.
That was ages ago. And I think number one has to be Oblak with 26 clean sheets. I think if you've had 26 clean sheets in a calendar year, that's ridiculous.
Can I just say something about Oblak? Hasn't he got more clean sheets than games he's conceded in for Atletico Madrid?
He may have.
I think
I just looked at the calendar year
than he has games he's conceded in. That's insanity.
I think, yeah, Oblak is a ridiculous goalkeeper.
Okay,
so basically, so our dear friend Driftsy just said that. Okay, how many clean sheets?
24.
So now, are those clean sheets down to Alisson in Wonderland? Or are those actually down to what is a very good defence? Because I admit Van Dijk has been huge.
I think that's a fair point, but that's not the question for today.
And plus, that kind of negates the whole putting Oblak at the top because Atletico are phenomenal defence.
But Oblak has been more critical saves. Oblak has been more critical saves than
Alisson.
But that's for another day. That's for another day.
You've never watched footage of Alisson.
There's 11 players on the pitch as far as I know, right? Nobody's all on them on their own. Okay, alright, so I think we really do have to talk about another upset that surfaced this week. Huddersfield and Wagner. So, he got sacked, no, he asked to leave, whatever happened, he's leaving. And considering that he's done actually quite well for the club, you know, getting them from relegation and from the Championship into the Premier League, even though it's not looking too rosy at the time, I think we should all recognise what he has done. What do you think, guys? Is he right to leave? Is he burned out? I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
done.
So for Huddersfield, you're taking a huge risk here. Like, first of all, to even get promoted to the Premier League was huge because Huddersfield had no business whatsoever getting promoted. They play in my kitchen. Like their kitchen is their home stadium. So
that's a decent stadium in Macau. It looks decent.
Okay, look, alright. They can do better. But my thing is that this is risky for Huddersfield. Who are you gonna get with these sets of players to keep you up?
Good question.
I tell you, there's a set of managers sitting there going.
Don't say Mark Hughes.
And like Moyes,
the thing is, the reason why it's not a risk is because it's not. They couldn't do nothing about it. Like the poor guy was just like, guys, I'm exhausted, man. And I 100% believe it was amicable. He wasn't sacked, and I believe he was like, guys, I want to go, and they were like,
wait, but why though?
But
why?
You know what?
Because
he said he's exhausted. He actually said he's mentally exhausted. Like it's been too strenuous.
But he also said, I will see out the rest of the season if you want me to. He said, I will see it out, and they said, it's probably not right for you. But
he's told them he's not right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when they keep on having bad performance, it'll be like, well, I told you, lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay, wait. Where does this strenuous stuff come from?
They play good football because he's a very good coach tactically, and he knows how to set his team up.
Okay.
But he's trying to win a race with a Skoda. Do you know what I'm saying? And everyone else is driving Ferraris. So even though even though he's got the best pit stops and the tactics and the tyres and he knows how much petrol to put in the car, the car still can't win the race. So it's stressful for a minute. Like, he's like, I just can't win. This is pissing me off.
No.
If he was like an Allardyce who could just be like, let's defend and just long lob the ball and
I'm sorry, that's
you
being
could just
win.
survive.
No, it's not
but
being
he
win.
wants real football with real tactics.
Why
and it's
would you
really
say-
hard for him to get that with players that can't
How is
deliver.
that stressful? That's football management. That's just how football
He's
management
been doing it for 4 years. He's just like, he's burnt out, bro.
You know
Nah,
what? It's
forget
got to
that,
be
man.
hard. It's like no one likes to lose, and when you're setting your team out and you're thinking, right, we need to get a result. We've done this. We've done well in training, and you just don't have. They're just not good enough at this level. And to do what he did last season, which must have been very stressful, to keep them up, and then you go through the summer and you're working on your team and everything, and then you come in. I think they've lost. No, they got a draw. I think they've lost 8 out of the last 9. And they got a draw in the last game, but that's going to take its toll. When you're trying to do this and do that and nothing's working, you're like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't take the team further.
Yeah.
Why would I stay?
Something that I observed when I listened to his, like, a couple of his interviews afterwards is that he was quite frustrated that he said, like, you know, they're trying and he can never put his team really down, even though when they lost.
Yeah.
But I did hear him a couple saying, like, something this was unlucky. I think I remember him as well. He was saying, oh, we would have the highest scores if we win by hitting the ball against the poles.
Yeah.
Right, you know, so I feel like maybe this little bit was something that he just was missing and he couldn't get it. And
Yeah, that's exactly
what's
it.
the
Yeah.
frustration. And
What
that's
more?
just how I understand. Okay, Hope is shaking his head. No, fair call. He's being paid a lot of money, right? And that's his
Thank you.
But what
Thank
more,
you.
Okay, but what more can he achieve with this Huddersfield
Devil,
team?
if I'm being paid how much, like thousands a week to lose games, I'm like, you know what, let me at least see out the season. This whole stressful thing of like, where does the stress come from? Okay, yes, you're Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Nobody even, you've already overachieved. The least you can do is just see out the flipping
so let me-
season.
But he's
bro.
thinking of the good of the club.
No, not just that. Let me think. Okay, so your career as a manager.
Yes.
Right? You kept them up. You get to this point. Why would you stay? Have the relegation on your CV, and when you can leave now, you don't have the relegation on your CV. You look for another job in 6 months, and you get a better job. Why would you take the relegation?
If
it
I'm-
makes sense.
If I'm an employer, I will think of you less because I say you were a wimp. Because first of all, I would have much more faith in you because you know what? You first of all overachieved, but you stood by it and you tried to push them either till the end of the season or till you got sacked. And I'll never hold that against you. But say that you left because it was too stressful for you, I don't want to hire you then. Because therefore you can't deal with high stressful situations. So that's even worse on your CV.
He dealt with it
I don't
for
agree
4
with that.
years. And this is the reason why your boy, your idol, Uncle Pussy-o, this is the reason why nobody likes him. Because he will sit there and
Maybe
get the
kids are
pay.
watching Griffey. Maybe
He will
kids
sit
are
there and
watching.
get the paycheck. Everyone can clearly see it doesn't
It shows
matter.
how real Mourinho is, man.
No,
because
it shows
Mourinho's like,
he
no,
doesn't give a
you
shit.
sack me, I will stay here and I will
Alright.
wait shit till you flipping sack me. That's just called real character.
Okay,
Wagner, learn from Mourinho. Learn from Buddy
That's called an
Mourinho.
arsehole.
No, that's called real character,
I can
bro.
see this is a really heated
2010.
question. So why not put some more gasoline into that fire? With the question, what is going on with Arsenal
Oh, God.
and Ozil? Since we're talking about managers and what's going on there,
Let's be
we
real.
have a few more minutes
It's,
left.
uh,
Here you go, guys.
Well, can I just say one
Yeah.
thing? As I was funny, be fully transparent and real here because it's 2019. It's time for all of us to be real. Is it right that Mesut Ozil is paid how much he's being paid? And please be truthful.
No, not at all. But this is to go back to the question. What is going on at Arsenal? It's an absolute shit show, and it has been for years.
Says an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, like Ozil should have
Badly.
never been given that contract because it's at the detriment of the rest of the squad. The reason why Ramsey's leaving is because we couldn't afford to keep him because we gave all the money to Ozil. But now Emery doesn't like Ozil and we're trying to sell him. But we can't sell him because no one else is going to pay him 350 grand a week. So we've got this player who's one of the most creative players in the league, and we are struggling with creativity at the moment, and we're not playing him. Which means he's not in the shop window, which means no one's going to sign him, which means we can't sign anyone because we have no money. And it's just, the whole thing's a roundabout of shit.
So who actually greenlit the contract thing? The
This was Gazidis and those guys. Basically, Gazidis is Dave Cameron, right? He'd come up with this big plan, said, right, this is what's going to happen. We're going to take all this power away from Wenger, which was good. That's what was needed at the time. We're going to give power to this guy. And then it starts to go a little bit wrong. And he's like, right, I'm out. Peace. And he's left it. So now it's like a big free-for-all behind the scenes where no one really
Sounds a bit
knows.
like Brexit.
It's exactly that's exactly it is. We are Brexit FC right now. No one knows what's going on. No one knows what direction to go in. Emery is like, oh yeah, I'm going to take some more power. He came in and he said, I'm going to build this team around Ozil and Ramsey. Ramsey's off. He's going.
So he lied to get the job.
Yeah. So Ramsey's off. He's going to Newcastle.
Everyone lies on their CV.
Ozil.
I did.
Bro, do you know what I mean? It's like one of the ones where you go to audition. Can you drive a car? Yeah. You get in the car, you're like. Straight into the wall. That's what we've done. The man's just driven us into the wall.
You know what? I wouldn't say the Ozil thing is bad, and I'll tell you why. Because I would rather have a player that I'm thinking, oh, what the hell do we do with this guy? He's on too much money. Then he walked away for free like everybody else. So I kind of do understand why they signed him. Because if Ozil had left for free, and Ramsey had left for free, and Wilshere left, like one of them has to be there. Sanchez is going to go, like, one of them's got to still be there.
You know what you do in that
can't
case?
lose everybody for
When they
free.
get down to 2 years on their contract, you say, are you signing
That's
the
the
thing
real
or are you
problem.
going?
That's
and
the
then you
real
sell
problem.
them. You don't let it run into the last year.
But once you're in that 12-month period, it's like, we can't go back in the past. He had to be signed.
Again, that goes to the management of the club. It's run like a shit show from top to bottom. Kroenke doesn't give a shit. Kroenke's just taking money out of the club willy-nilly. You know, he just spent 1.6 billion on LA Rams like over the last year. He ain't put one penny into Arsenal Football Club since 2007. Not one penny. Just be taking money out, putting loans against the club. We are run like an absolute joke.
We're going to have to do a special on this because I feel like we need to like...
Oh, no.
But the thing is, see, earlier in the season, everyone's like, Arsenal title challenges, yeah, everything's looking good. Remember, I said, careful. Because where we are now is where we should be. In all
I'm not going to lie, I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, you did.
I drank the Kool-Aid.
No, but basically for me,
You gotta listen to Devo, man.
No, I just think the thing with the whole Ozil thing is that, again, I've always said that Ozil isn't as good as people make him out to be. Very talented player, but I think that what he was 2010, 2012 isn't what he is right now. So it is a crazy situation because Ozil's like, wait a minute, I've got all like 300,000+ a week. I'm not gonna go. So you can't force me because I've got this flipping contract. So if you're going to play me, fine, I'm going to chill and just earn all of this money.
He basically finessed Arsenal.
100%.
We finessed ourselves. Do you know what I mean?
He finessed Arsenal. He was like, listen, I make 1 key pass per game. I think that should be enough for 350. And someone in the club went, yeah. You know what I mean? How the hell did he do that?
That's messed up,
Alright,
man.
thanks guys. Maybe I should try that at work, right? I sent this one very good email.
Do the Ozil, man. Do the Ozil.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm pretty sure there's loads more we can talk about that topic, so maybe we shall revisit that later. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Do let us know what you think. Interact with us on our YouTube channel. Give us all your thoughts on the hair as well. I'm happy to hear what you guys are saying, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. Join us next week again, same time, same place. Looking forward to it. Bye bye.
Peace.